We are back once again. I am Bjorn Anders, your dungeon master, and say hello, everyone.
Hello, everyone.
I feel like
Hi.
I feel like we've done this before.
We don't get better at it. We just get more disorganized.
Exactly. It's
We're like,
it's a well fucking oiled
When
machine.
were we organized?
Oh, I use 5 different notebooks for one campaign. That lets you know my level of
When was
organization.
I organized?
I'm saying none of them are full. So I'm just jumping around between them because I write when I can't find one. That's not important. As far as announcement type stuff, Jordan, you are doing Riverwood still.
Yep, we've got Riverwood. We've got the show. We just closed up this weekend our run at Langston Hughes Center. We've got a week off, so the weekend that this is airing, we are off. And then the next 2 weekends after that, we will be running at Seattle Public Theater, the Bathhouse Theater by Green Lake. So come see the show.
Very nice. Anybody else? Any sort of amazing announcements? Nathan, anything going on soon at the gym or that you're associated with?
No, we're still just kind of rebounding back from the first show, which was super cool. So hoping to have another one probably in the next 3 or 4 months, but we'll see. As it has been our first show back in over 2 years, we don't want to rush things, but it was a success, and gosh darn, it was good to see faces again. So,
well, hopefully the mustache maintains at least until then, if not longer. Maybe the mustache.
I have very little say in the matter. It's kind of taken over.
This is true. Like it will not be long before we have to let your mustache roll its own character. It could be your familiar.
The mustache is just a mind flayer.
I will be my mustache's familiar. Thank you.
I figured it was a mimic.
Everything's a mimic. That'll be the next campaign.
Have you been looking at my one-shot
Oops,
plans?
all mimics. Oops, all mimics. Everything you run into. It's
I have that in a notebook.
Walk through the front door of the tavern. The tavern is a mimic.
Right here.
No, I'm not giving him ideas.
Don't worry, I've had that idea for a long time. All DMs have that idea where we eventually just go, I'm just going to make everything a mimic. Just lack of originality.
Just to see what happens.
Yeah, it's fun times.
How long before everyone quits?
I mean, how long before everyone's eaten by a mimic? Honey, I shrunk the mimic.
This is starting off great.
I know. Just not gonna. Yes, Jordan is having ideas now. I'm like, maybe.
Oh.
So all of you, you were all in the settlement of Silent Gulch here in the Vagabond Assemblage. Yes,
there we go.
Wow, that is.
What?
That's a thinking chair right there. Isn't a chair that thinks for itself.
Also known as an armchair because it just has literal arms.
There it is. There we
This is
are.
why I love you. This
There
is
it
why
is.
I love you.
Casey, give yourself inspiration for that.
And experience. I'll take that.
Yes, give yourself experience points in our milestone campaign where I don't use experience because I'm not doing the math.
So we're level 6 now?
Public credits are no good here.
So here in Silent Gulch, you had received notification, specifically Siobhan had, that you were being asked to head to the train station, the short jaunt out of town, and to not bring the marshal. You all sensed this was
A trap.
It's a trap.
basically that. And so you spoke to the marshal and suggested he did accompany you all under cover of invisibility. What the hell?
Critical Role has
What?
Sam in the gas can. We've got Phoenix in his backgrounds.
Wow. Look out, the mimic's
What?
got a gun.
What?
I'm going to stat that and make you fight it. Don't worry. So, Phoenix,
Oh, no.
give yourself inspiration. That makes
Oh,
me
no.
happy. Just know I'm not kidding that I am going to stat that, making you fight it at some point. It's absolutely happening. Wow. That
That just reminds me of Martin the Martian fighting Daffy or Duck Dodgers. He shoots the bullet at him, and out of the bullet comes another gun, and then that shoots a bullet at him.
I don't know how
Something
much
silly
of
like
this is framed up on my actual portrait right now, but
It's pretty perfect.
it's
On the,
it's
on the
all there.
screen.
Okay.
Just
Oh,
your
man.
head's like
Gun.
right in the middle of its mouth. We see just
Yeah.
barely the end of the gun.
That
Okay,
is
okay.
so perfect. Oh, I've never been so happy. Anyhow, you brought the marshal along. He was invisible. And a verbal altercation started between you all and a full 5-member census squad. The leader of this squad, an individual by the name of Safra, exchanging words with Kira, got a little too personal. And things escalated, spells were cast, combat began, and as this squad was clearly beginning to be on the losing end of things, one of them fired a blast into the air, very similar to a signal flare. And an instant later, Marshall's office back in the town of Silent Gulch exploded into a huge ball of flame. The smoke, yes?
I'm sorry, didn't she like depress something?
And fired a flare into the air.
Okay, so there's another assistant someplace. Okay. Thank you.
And shortly after it exploding, the sound of a gunshot rang out as Marshal Bicker fired his pistol into the air, dropping his invisibility, and he lowered the barrel to point it at your adversaries. He let them know they had 2 choices. Option 1, they could stand down and surrender. Option 2, they could choose violence. And that's where we pick up as Marshal Bicker has lowered the business end of his revolver in their direction. And one by one, you see as they all slowly raise their hands,
God damn it.
seeing they are outnumbered and outgunned at this point.
What?
You could say they have been outplanned as well.
Damn it. They're giving up.
Yeah,
Bitch.
it happened. And you all do get the sense that the marshal wish they would have chose otherwise, but he's not about to gun them down in cold blood. As you all stand here, your foes here at the train station appearing to give up. What do you all want to do?
I know that holding an action with a spell kind of sucks,
Mhm.
but would it be possible for me to not in the technical terms hold an action, but be
Sure.
ready to cast a hold person?
I'm fine with that. You guys
Okay.
are out. Like we're sort of coming out of initiative here. So if you were saying, if I saw reason to do this, this is what I would have ready.
At
It's-
a moment's notice, I'm just
Love it. Love it.
I don't remember who it was specifically, but like I think I was like right in front of like the caster or one of the casters,
Yeah.
and then Gurnet was nearby, and somebody like plant whipped her or something and did a whole bunch of poison damage to her.
Yes. The sort of druidic looking individual, the human male, Gen, who that was the one that was at the brothel that Siobhan received the letter from. He had sort of turned into this massive plant creature and is sort of holding up these viney hands in his still plant form. But that was who Garnet had taken the large amount of damage from.
This is all happening very quickly, and as I recall, they had all, if not most, failed on their slow.
Oh, yes.
So Polhaku is leaving the area of the caster that's right in front of him.
Mhm.
Seeing this guy has got his hands up, he did hear the marshal, so he kind of knows what's going on here, but he is nevertheless going to walk over to the plant guy and is basically just going to take the butt end of both the what is it that he's got there? The so he's got the dagger, that the petrified wood dagger,
Mhm.
and his kind of shark tooth club.
Yeah.
It just takes the butt end of those, and he's just going to basically take both sides and just hammer them against the guy's head.
Make 2 attack rolls with advantage because this individual's not paying any attention to you. This is
That is a 19 for the dagger
okay.
and a 22 for the Leomano.
Oh yes, both of those will hit. So I'm just going to be damage for both.
Okay. It's not going to be a ton.
It's fine.
Let's see, that is 6 points on the dagger
Nice.
and 1 point on the Leomano.
So 7 points of damage total. As you walk, Paco just boosh smacks the butt ends. He's right into sort of this very marshy skull of this thing, and as that happens, he will drop the form, holding his head. We give up. Stop. It really hurt.
Should have thought of that before you hit my friend.
Sure. Yeah. Can we just? Can everything?
He does step back.
Yeah.
He just needed
I'm
to get
gonna-
that one out of his system.
I'm gonna hold up my own set of manacles and look to the marshal. If I may.
Oh, much obliged. Happy.
And I go immediately to manacle Safra and make
Okay.
sure Safra is locked in uncomfortably tight.
Okay. Yeah, she doesn't resist on that, and as you lock the second manacle in place, she that hurts.
Boo hoo. You're lucky I'm letting you keep your arms at all.
I'm starting to dislike you.
You'll have to catch
Darn it.
up.
Garnet would like to slip into the train house and take a look around. 1, make sure there really was only 5. 2, see if they left anything interesting in there.
Make an investigation check.
I'm going to use my inspiration to reroll that.
Awesome.
Oh, much better. 16.
16. So looking about, you don't see a whole lot of belongings there. You do spy a couple bedrolls that were there. You're guessing they probably camped out here earlier in the day waiting for you all. But other than that, you don't see a whole lot about. Knowing that there aren't a whole lot of trains running today, your guess is they probably weren't going to use this as a base of operations, since on busier days there is quite a bit of traffic. You don't notice anyone else about. However, you do see a open skylight.
Oh, I'm going up.
Was that?
I will go up.
So you're fairly nimble, just focusing. I'm not going to make you make an acrobatics check or anything to climb up there. So you do find sort of a balcony area near where this skylight is. It opens outward. And so you reach it. Whoever opened it could have been them, could have been someone else that you obviously don't know, but this does open outward. It's large enough that for someone gnome sized, it'd be pretty difficult to open, but someone at least medium sized category with even minimal strength you think could open it fairly easily. Both the panes are on hinges.
Does this go out to the balcony that they were originally talking to us from then?
No, the balcony is up on a different set of stairs. This is
Oh.
just a skylight that actually it would just go onto the roof itself. You think it's probably just used for on a warm day, open up, just get a little more airflow going in here.
And today is warm.
Fairly warm. Despite
Yeah,
it
oh.
being the beginning of the cold months, this is, the beginning of winter is the tail end of summer. So again, kind of think of it like September. Right? We have hot days here in September. So yeah, you're going, it's a warm enough day. Could have been open just for that reason.
Could I get up through it and onto the roof then?
No problem.
I will do that. I will
Yeah.
survey the land around me.
Give me another investigation check or perception for this one, your choice.
Okay. 19 investigation.
19 investigation. Looking about, you glance along the horizon and along the land itself, looking to see if you see anyone scurrying away in a hurry. And you don't see anyone, so you get down and sort of check the roof tiles here. Looking about, you don't see anything really out of place. You don't think anyone used this as a means of escape. If someone had, you probably would have seen some sort of indication that this area had been walked on recently, since most people don't tread about on a roof. So,
Why not?
right, you feel pretty satisfied that whoever opened it, you think it was one of them.
Okay. I will make my way back to the group then.
Making your way. And by the time you get back down, all 5 of them have been put in some sort of restraint, be they shackles, just a rope around the waist. The marshal has had Gen, the one who turned into the plant creature, has used his own belt, Gen's belt, not the marshal's, to bind his wrists in lieu of having anything else. And all 5 of them are currently in custody.
I will also be Marshal, if I may, just because I know how we operate, and I'm gonna take everyone's like arcane focuses as well as component pouches.
Nice, very nice. Yeah, and not all of them have them, since they're not all casters, but most of them do. And you very quickly make sure those are no longer in their possessions. Arcane foci, component pouches, taken and stored. And Marshall gestures his head back towards town and says to him, "Now, why don't we mosey on in that direction, and while we walk, I can explain to you exactly what sort of accommodations you're going to have while I figure out who the hell is going to rebuild my goddamn office."
Before we do that,
Yeah.
Reba wants to approach the group and say, it's because it seems like they were working with someone who was by the office, right, to blow up the building. So Reba's going to approach like Safra and say, so you're fucked. You fucked up, and now you're fucked, and I think you know that. Your little assassination attempt failed, and if you hadn't surrendered, you'd be dead by now. All that being said, it's clear that you were working with someone who was at the office to try said assassination attempt. So what you're going to do is you're going to tell us exactly where that piece of shit would go so that you can be reunited with your little band of merry men. And because if you cooperate, things aren't going to be nearly as bad as we could make them.
I mean, I wouldn't promise that. It's already going to be real bad for him.
It's already going to be bad. But you don't want to see how much worse it gets if you try and hold out on us here.
What the heck? I'm going to go ahead and just kind of look over. I suggest you do what she says. That's a suggestion. It's a low DC because it's racial.
Okay.
Real quick, outside of like our group
Yeah.
and the people surrendering, like how many other are there any like locals standing around, anything like that?
No, they
That have,
deliberately
like,
picked a
you know,
time
any
when.
gawkers?
No, they deliberately picked a time when there was a very long window between any trains coming. There is no one about. What stat for the DC?
That's a DC 11 Wisdom save.
A wisdom save. Find her wisdoms here. Okay, ooh, let's see. That is a 12.
Yeah.
So she will shake off the suggestion. Make it worse, you say. How so? We've surrendered. I'm in custody under the watchful gaze of a marshal of the vagabond assemblage, which means procedure would be to hand me over to my superiors so I can wait proper processing and punishment. And she'll nod towards Kira. He knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
He knows I'm right.
But at this point, it would be handing you over to me. Because, I don't know if you know this, but I've been promoted. This is a deception.
Make a deception check.
That is a 24.
Nice.
Ooh. She rolled real good, but oh wait. Rolled a 24?
Yeah.
I got a 23 on insight. Holy shit, nice roll.
Woo!
She's
Oh, boy.
proficient in insight.
Fuck. Deception's my only good thing.
Wow. That was... Okay. So, well, if you've been promoted, then I guess I'm your responsibility now, and we're your problem. What are you going to do about it?
Seeing as you broke a law in the assemblage, I will let the assemblage's laws govern you. It only makes sense to be held in the court of where you committed the offense. But of course,
As you
I will send a letter to our superiors and make sure I'm making the right call. But until then, that's what'll happen to you.
You'll see the marshal smile at this. And Siobhan and Rita, you would both know why the marshal would be smiling. Well, just so happens that attempting to snuff out the life of Marshall here within the Vagabond Assemblage, oh, you'll stand trial for that. And one or two things are going to happen to you. You're going to get locked away for a very, very long time. You're going to get a short drop and a quick stop. I can't say I feel bad either way. Him turning you over to me, boy, howdy. That just might be the worst possible outcome you all could have gotten. But the thing is, you try and kill me, well, I take that a little personal. But y'all ain't the first to have tried it. Assume y'all ain't gonna be the last either. But what you done did is you ruined my office, and now you done pissed me off. See, I was halfway done with the weekly crossword. I'm gonna have to start over. That there is what I call an inconvenience that I just cannot abide. That's rude.
So it seems like all y'all are gonna end up out of service, we'll say, in one way or another, because there are heavy penalties back in the Empire of trying to break our treaties with the assemblage by trying to assassinate one of their marshals.
Saffra will look to you. You still really believe in the census, don't you? We are beyond these agreements, rules, titles, and institutions.
I will
What is old will be new again.
I will grab Saffra by the face
Okay.
and start to chill my hand like a ray of frost is going to come from it.
Uh-huh.
Our laws and treaties are the only things that keep scum like you from hurting innocent people. You will not make that mistake again. And that is a 22 in Intimidate.
You can feel her body recoil in your hand. Clearly, your words have sunk into her. Her eyes go wide. This failure of ours that rests on my head, and I will take that with me. You won't be ready for who comes next, for what comes next.
Yeah, I've been threatened worse, and I walk away.
After he does, as soon as he's like a little bit out of her head, Siobhan in his head is going to be, the more you threaten her, the less information you're going to get out of her. She's about to spout off about her whole people. I think we need that information. Also, I don't know if you knew that Siobhan could do this, but yes, she's just saying this directly in your head.
My money says what she'd tell us is a lie anyway.
There's one way to find out. I cast Zone of Truth.
You didn't hear any of that.
Yeah.
Oh shit,
That
you're
would've
right.
been
Sorry,
mental.
never mind. I would still like to cast Zone of Truth once Kira walks away, so that
Alright.
it does not affect his lies.
Who all do you want to catch in your zone of truth?
If possible, just the, group of assholes. Sapphire's
Okay.
crew.
Let's see here.
Wait,
What
Not me.
is your DC and what stat?
So Zone of Truth is going to be charisma 15.
Alrighty. 15. We'll start with Zanati. It's cocked. Would have been a natural 20. Nope. Zanati fails. Let's try Ulara. That is also a fail. See here. Hold on. You said it was a 15?
Yeah.
That's a 13. See here. Again. Nope. That's a natural 1. And saved Saffra for last. Best roll I got in anybody was a 14. Your zone of truth is over all of them.
Wow.
Yeah, bronze die didn't pull through today.
Is Zone of Truth static?
Yeah.
Okay. Are we not walking and talking? I thought we were leaving them back to the.
I mean, I said before we do that, before I tried to intimidate them, so
Yeah,
I don't know if we're walking yet.
I assume this all happens before the marshals making them walk and talk. He had suggested walking and talking, but you all had some stuff to do. So I'm allowing this to be static for this. So yeah, boom, your zone of truth. It's
I stayed within that zone there with you. I went ahead and rolled it just for fun, and I did get an 18, so I'm inside of that with you.
okay.
I know Pahaku really likes to be very insidious and deceptive, usually.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Would not want to hear what would happen if he ever said what he, was thinking.
Oh my god.
So you have them in your zone of
He
truth.
can lie.
How long does the spell last?
10 minutes.
10 minutes. All right.
Do they know I've cast it?
I believe so. It should say in the spell description. But I believe on Zone of Truth, they know you've cast it.
Yeah, they do.
Yes, an affected creature is aware of the spell. Thank you.
Yeah. So you have the minute. What do you want to do?
I've done that. I'm going to then use Sacred Flame to, well, actually, can I make a check? Who seems the most scared?
Okay.
Who seems like the most weak-willed in this situation of the group?
Make an insight check. The marshal is also within your zone of truth. This will not shock you. He succeeded the save.
Oh, the charisma save? The marshal succeeded? Ah, what a relief.
The paladins made the charisma save. Weird.
Yes.
You said insight check?
Yes.
Fantastic.
He's an Oath of the Gun paladin.
So that's going to be a 26.
Ooh, 26. So in this case, all of them seem concerned. The two that seem the most rattled right now are Safra and Gen, so the leader and the one who turned into the plant monster.
Cool.
If you're curious, with a 26, if you want to know who seems the least rattled, that would be Zonati, the big powerful orc.
And does it seem like they all sort of have the same information? Like, it doesn't seem like Safra is saying anything that surprises them. I don't know.
With the 26 on the insight, you didn't see any reactions from any of them, like they were shocked at
Yeah.
what she was saying. So while you don't know if they all truly know all the same things, the at least overarching notion of who they are and what they do is consistent amongst the group, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so I turn to the plant monster guy.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I'm standing near him, which is why I caught him that. Yeah.
He's back in human form. He has dropped that, but he's
I realize, but I
Okay.
just feel like it's still, I don't know, the vibe's there.
Okay.
And I say, hey, plant monster guy.
Gen.
Gen? I wonder if you'd catch fire as easily in human form as you do in plant form. And I'm going to hold Sacred Flame and have that start to just surround and come closer and closer to him.
Make an intimidation check.
Thank
Oh,
you.
I'd like to
Manix would
assist
very
with
much
that.
Manix would very much like to help with that.
Yeah, I'm just going to be kind of pushing him a little bit closer to that flame.
Okay. You may make this check with advantage, Casey.
Excellent. Oh, cocked. Fuck yeah. That's going to be 23.
23. Okay, I feel like this is unnecessary and I'm not interested in
It'll be unnecessary once you give us the information. Where's your friend? Where's the rest of your crew? And what the fuck are you trying to accomplish here? What part of the census are you if you're above his fucking laws? And I sort of nod to Kira.
We operate outside of the census, and that's all you need to know.
I'm asking for more. And I have the flames come closer and maybe start to like singe the tips of his hair.
I'm gonna lean over to Manix and just. So they realize by saying that they're outside of the census that I just have a license to kill them now, right? Like they know that that's what that means, right?
Tell me the name of your little group and who your leader is.
There is room in eternity waiting for me.
All right, so you're dealing with some sort of deity, it sounds like, some extra dimensional shit. Who?
do your worst.
Kira smiles.
Siobhan finds all of this extraordinarily distasteful and is standing back from it. And she's not ever sheathed the why have I just forgotten the name of my weapon?
Glaive.
My glaive. She did not ever sheath the glaive, but looks like she finds this distasteful, if anybody's paying attention. And says in Reba's head, the name of the group is the name that they mentioned of the group is the Upright. Do you want to pretend you know more than we do? Hey,
Who's-
Kitty. Aw.
Yes, you guys. I've got Kitty on my lap.
Oh my god. I just forgot that she was haunted.
Yeah, she's incredibly haunted and shaved now. So she's
Aw.
got a little rat tail happening here. Um,
So Kira had already taken any sort of arcane focuses with Reba's kind of monologue here at him. Would Kira have found any sort of like religious iconography on them as well that could have been taken away? Or would that be a separate check?
That'd be a separate check. It wasn't something being looked for, though. If you're looking at what they're wearing, you can make a religion check.
I'm actually not going to. I'm going to kind of ease off the pressure a little bit as I've been kind of pushing him towards Reba. I'm going to actually look over to Garnet and ask, Garnet, I know that Kira's already taken their magical implements. This one seems awful confident. Oh, pardon. We've got the psychic link going.
Yeah.
I forgot. So I'll just say this in my head. I'll just mention over to Garnet that this one seems awful confident and as if there is some divine protection, perhaps. Would you mind checking, see if there's, I don't know, anything Kira might have missed, allowing him to think that?
Garnet will kind of go up next to Pohaku and Reba and just kind of look at the druid and kind of nicely place her hand on his arm. And I think things got off to a unfortunate start. Perhaps you could tell us more about the group. And, you know, she's trying to be comforting, not deceptively so, just
Sure.
distractingly so.
Yes.
Here comes good cop. Yep.
And he'll try to, you know, search his pocket.
Make a
while
sleight of
doing
hand.
so.
Make a sleight of hand check.
16. I'll add to it if I need to.
Okay. You don't really need to. As a druid, it doesn't have a whole lot on him. What you do end up noticing is just this talisman hanging from his neck and the iconography on it. It's recognizable enough. It's clearly reverence for the deity Balder, which is well known and very common in the Thanamirian Empire, which is where the census is based.
I'll think that back over to Pohaku. Doesn't look anything more interesting than Boulder.
Remind me
She'll
who Baldur
actually
is?
Balder is essentially the god of light associated with the sun. He's also dead. Was killed by his own brother after being deceived by the trickster god Loki. And it's believed by the Thanamirian Empire that they must tithe and continually give reverence to Balder, else the sun may no longer continue to burn. So that is why all citizens of the Thanamirian Empire are required to worship Balder and to tithe.
Garnet will also then reach into her pack and pull out one of the porcelain masks, looking for any sign of recognition from the 5.
Make a
We already
perception
know
or
some.
insight check.
Can I also make an insight check when that happens?
Sure.
Since I'm right up in their grill too.
9.
10.
10. Hard to read. There's a lot going on. They're restrained. They're in a zone of truth. A lot of adrenaline's coming down from this combat that just happened. Hard to read. Can't get any read on them one way or the other.
So she'll just pull it up and be like, we do know a little bit already. And this seems to be a symbol of sorts. Any of you have one of these in your possession or among your belongings elsewhere?
Safra, who noticed you checking over again. Why bother telling you either way if you're just going to look through our pockets regardless?
I mean, this would be very much easier.
I don't want to make things easy for any of you.
Okay.
Well, we know
We'll
she's
just
telling.
walk over and start searching her pocket.
Well, we know she's telling the truth.
I'm just gonna mutter to whoever's near me. That's the words of someone who wants to get their leg frozen off.
Make an investigation check.
Natural 20.
Ooh,
Or 21.
nice. So you find a coin purse that clearly has some coins in it.
Yoink.
You find she has some trail rations on her, but going through pockets and everything, you don't find any sort of mask or anything like that. If you're curious as far as the money you found, that would be 23 gold and 17 silver. Are you going to rob me and call it evidence?
Garnet will look over at Marshall Vicker. What are the rules?
Well, most often we do confiscate the possessions of those going into being incarcerated. We hold them aside for such time as if and when the individuals are released. However, in the terms of monetary units within their persons, considering they did blow up my goddamn office, that there's going to cost money to fix. So I say we can collect as beginning of restitution for such offense. The good news, and he looks over all 5 of them, about all of that. See, the holding cells were part of my office as well. Now, those are good, sturdy steel construction. So I can tell you right now, your little flames back there, oh, when they die down, I could let you know assuredly them cells will still be standing. So I'll be more than happy to put all 5 of you on display while we work on some sort of shade to keep you from roasting alive under the sun, but won't cause me no concern if passerby happens to get a nice giggle at you 5 dumbasses being put on display. Won't make me feel bad, not at all.
At that comment, Pohaku is going to kneel down in front of Safra, just look at her just in the eye. Roasting in the sun. Marshall, I'm sure your customs here are different than what I'm used to back in the wood. And he just sends a mental wink over to Garnet. Am I allowed to eat them?
Oh, well, shoot.
And I'm just looking at her straight in the eye.
Okay, Mirek.
No.
Oh, I just can't get away from it, can I?
It's,
You gotta type.
Gotta
Gonna
type.
cast thaumaturgy, and you're just gonna hear a sound of a barbecue sizzling.
Pohaku, make an intimidation check with advantage with the else's there.
And the smell of
17.
brisket.
And like Reba does want to point out, if you want to make sure that there's enough cells instead of a stomach for you to, tell us where your friend is so that he can join you there and not with this one.
I'll also think over to Garnet. Might have overdone it. Let the marshal know that was a joke.
Garnet will.
The marshal will collect himself hearing psychically that it was a joke, but he'll still continue on his words to them. Well, now, can't say we have a whole lot of rules about cannibalism here in the assemblage. Ain't never really come up till now. Suppose we'll have to have maybe a city council meeting, draw up some paperwork, be a bit of a discussion. Because, well, I guess I figure, if there is an execution, don't know that we need to take up no room on Boot Hill with their corpses. And I mean, save on having to send them home. I don't know, a couple of them look like they might taste a little gamey. Not sure how delectable any of them is going to be, but
And again, just still continuing to stare at her. Well, Marshal, I am here to serve.
well,
And
I'm not saying yes, but I'm also not saying no.
Marshall, seems like that city council meeting would only apply to 5 of them, since apparently that's all there is. Can't offer any sort of protection the city council might be able to provide if there were anyone else in the group, since there's not.
And one of them at this, the half-elf male, he sold on his name, will speak up. What protections would be offered? Safra, say nothing, Soldan. What protections?
I would say we all turn to the only person who actually has any authority here, being the marshal.
Well,
I do, at least.
so well now, suppose that's going to depend on what kind of information you have to offer now. Because you see, I don't promise nothing till I know what I'm being delivered. I go on and I foolishly say something like, oh, I'll turn you over to the Empire. You tell me Jack Diddley. Well, that don't look so good on me now, do it? So I'll tell you what.
Jack did what?
Yeah. Old feller. I'll introduce you sometime. We'll go along with what my half-orc friend here is saying. Why don't you tell us who it is that's working along with you, who the fuck it was, blew up my goddamn office, which I am still right pissed about, not going to get over for quite some time. And if you have that information, well, whichever one of you tells me who it was, why, a few days' time, there'll be a train rolling through these parts on its way to the capital city of the Thanamarian Empire. I will personally make sure you are on said train under the supervision of the census members that are on board. But this offer extends only to whoever lets me know who was working with y'all. You have 60 seconds until this offer is off the table. Any of you want to do or say anything?
Garnet will just speak up. That's a really good offer there, Marshall Bicker, and pretty reasonable considering what they did personally against your person. And she'll just kind of look at the one who seems to be weakest.
I will, Siobhan is actually looking to try to ascertain which is worse for them. Would they rather be here or would they rather be sent back to the Empire? Like, which is the bigger threat?
Make an insight check.
Okay. I don't know why I thought I had good wisdom. That's a 17.
17. Looking them over and seeing how they've reacted to everything, you get a strong sense that being left here to the devices of the assemblage and the laws of the assemblage, there's no hope. If they can at least get back to the Empire, you kind of have the idea maybe there's a chance that they have some sort of connections that might be able to assist them. After all, they are part of a large organization if they were ever part of the census. So you really get the sense that if they're left here in the assemblage to rot, that's it. They can either spend a long, long time in a cell or meet their end on a rope.
Okay.
This sold on. No, you're on your own. I told you this was a fool's errand. His name is Olafaris.
And where is Alaphris?
That's spelled.
I don't know.
You can spell that.
Olaforis.
Not even close.
He's the Dusk Elf who offered us the job.
Oh, him. We're already friends. When did you meet him?
Safra introduced us. And as he says, you will watch, Safra will force herself up to her feet and she just headbutts him square in the mouth. And he,
Old person.
What's the save on that?
Charisma, or not charisma, but it's 15 of something.
Doesn't matter. I rolled a
Wisdom.
6.
Yeah, wisdom 15.
So I'll say she was quick enough to still be able to get the headbutt in,
For sure.
but she's completely now held there in place. And he's just, and you can see just blood is coming out of his mouth. And as he pulls his hand away, you can see that one of his teeth is now in his hand.
Impressed.
And I will just sidle up to Safra within the zone of truth, and I will
Yeah.
choose to fail.
Okay.
And I will step up to Safra. You do anything like that again, and I'll kill you myself.
She'll respond as she is held.
Oh yeah, your mother is a whore. And I
There we go,
will
episode title.
make it slow.
Jesus.
And then I walk out of the zone of truth.
Well, why don't we mosey on back, get these individuals properly outfitted in their new home for the time being. And he looks over to Soldan. You just bought yourself your own private cell there, partner. How you like that? You'll have room to stretch out your legs. Oh, don't think for half a second that I'm not going to lock you up too, because you gave us some information. Don't mean you're getting away scot-free, all kinds of easy. No. I'll make sure you get turned right back over to your superiors, or former superiors, as your associate here suggested. Whatever happens to you, not gonna be my problem. The journey back to town, unless you all have anything else you want to ask, say, or trying to get out of any of them, will begin.
No. But I
As
am
we're
going to be playing
walking,
with my short sword the entire walk.
Okay.
And that is not a euphemism.
Garnet's gonna give Soldan just a drink of water and just try to be nice and, thanks for the info. It's all gonna be okay, I'm sure. Anything else that you think is important? Just kind of that, just a running monologue as we're walking.
You'll pick up a couple small pieces of information as you travel. You do pick up quickly. He doesn't know a whole lot else. He's not the leader of the group by any means, and so he kind of only knew what he was told, but he had met this individual at least once, and they as a group were brought into whatever this Olathris was part of working on, but he seems to know precious little, but he does acknowledge the term the upright. He did hear something about that.
So heard something, but not necessarily a part of the upright then?
Yeah, like you get the sense that possibly, but that would be a thing that probably Safra would know more.
Okay.
Very quickly glean that she probably kept some cards real close to her chest, even with her fellow associates.
While we're walking, Siobhan is going to, I think I can't remember because it would have been several sessions back, but I think we already told the marshal about the Dusk Elf
You did.
that we ran into.
You did.
So yeah, she's not saying this out loud in front of any of these census upright whatever members, but yeah, telepathically, it's just saying, right? So it could just be me and my own bias towards the census in general, but these upright fix seem even more what's the word, zealous. So I'm not telling you your business, but I'd be careful of making a martyr of them, as that may only strengthen their cause.
Marshall looked to you. Well, you speak fine wisdom there. I will say, here and there is some other faction or organization out there. Makes things make a hell of a lot more sense as far as I view things. None of this sat right with me as far as being purely of census. Now, I've got no love for them, but showing up at the mine, throwing their weight around, doing all of this, it's just not how they behave. Your friend here, Kira, spoke it true. They're about their regulations, their rules, their law keepers. Not all too different from myself, depending on who you ask. So, if there is something else within them, that does concern me greatly. These 5, well, suppose I'd be generous if I called them a collection of chuckle fucks. Dangerous to some, not to y'all. But there are those within that organization that have capabilities that, downright terrify me, if I'm being honest. I guess it's my hope that none of them are part of this upright whatever the fuck that is.
Well, your man, Castian, was it?
Yeah.
He did not seem to be a friend to the upright. We dropped his name. Someone dropped his name back in the mine, thinking, yeah, that makes sense. Thinking that it would be a way to seem more important in the census, and they laughed it off. So,
Oh, now that could be a relief to know right there.
not that I know nor trust Castian, who I spent my entire acquaintance with avoiding any and all interaction, but he did not seem to be part of whatever the upright might be.
Well, if he ain't part of it, that's definite relief. As far as individuals within that entire organization I'm aware of, he's among the best they got. Matter of fact, if he's no friend of theirs, and he looks over at Soldan, I think I got a present for him.
Ooh.
He claps Soldan on the shoulder. I bet he'll take you right on home, deliver you good and fancy.
This is all internal. So,
Okay,
so Soldan doesn't know who he is.
gotcha. Missed that part. So that will not happen. Actually, Marshall will grab Soldan by the shoulders and he thinks that back to you as he's doing it. Soldan's kind of looking around, the actual fuck is happening. Vicar kind of smiles at it. Continues along. Doesn't take you long until you are all.
Sorry.
Yes.
One little thing, just as
please.
we're continuing back, is Oaku, when Siobhan is, or maybe in the middle of it, since all of this is happening psychically. But we'll head on up to Siobhan and just kind of tap on the back of her shoulder. Hey, good job back there. A little faster next time. And I'm just going to tap you with the butt end again of the dagger and cast again Gift of Alacrity on you, just in case anything else on the way back.
Remind me what that is.
You is it
D8.
It's your
Yeah.
initiative.
You're strong. Keep us safe.
All right. And you see Siobhan visibly confused about whether she's being negged or insulted, like isn't quite sure what's just happened.
And Pohaku kind of comes back up again. Also, just so there's no confusion, we don't really eat people. And then
Faster, right?
So once we get back to the town, Kira will. So I've got to go to the nearest temple to talk to a person about a thing. Please don't kill them without me.
Well, won't be snuffing off a single one of them without proper legal proceedings. So, it'll take a while to get a trial arranged, and imagine building a case, sentencing, all that. That will take a minute or two. So,
Finding
Okay.
proper seasonings.
And I'll lean in real close to the marshal and whisper, by the way, I'm not actually rank-wise in charge of them, so...
And he kind of claps his hand on your shoulder, and he says back to you, "Of that, I am fully aware, but I'm
Yeah.
more than happy to play along." It sent quite a shiver down their
Yeah.
spines.
I just wanted to make sure, because I personally, I was surprised that fooled them. I don't really know what I'm doing, but it seems to
Lord.
be working. Anyway, I've got to go, and I start
Yeah.
to. head into
Before you do,
town.
he pulls you back slightly right before you're able to go, and he's like, "Just one last thing. As you are not actually in charge of them and cannot actually hand them over to me, I am probably going to have to turn that whole lot of them over when that train rolls through here.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
But I won't tell them that."
We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. And I start to head off to any temple I can find.
Love it. There's one main temple clearly devoted to Odin. It's the opposite end of the town from where the marshal is. But again, this town's not very big. And as you all get back to what's left of his charred office, folks in the town turned out, everything they can to put out the fire, and they're just very wide-eyed at everything. The marshal will speak. "Now, we had a group of 6 roll into our town recently. A couple locals, 4 who ain't. Some of you might have met those folks. I'm going to say right now, they're some of the most reliable and kind individuals I've met in some time. So I hope y'all, if you get a chance to cross paths with them, give them a proper howdy. Maybe have a drink with them. Sit and chat with them. Get to know them a spell. They're awful worthwhile. On the other hand," he points at Satyr's group, "these 5 pieces of shit saw it in their best interest to blow up my office. Now, I do not take this kindly or lightly. So while I figure out exactly how that's going to be rebuilt, I'm going to ask those of you who are here now to do me a favor. Spread the word throughout town about these 5 folks we got locked up here. And what I'm asking of you all is very simple. You do not see them. You do not hear them. You do not acknowledge them. I do not want to give a single one of these worthless souls the satisfaction of 1 second of any of your time. All of you are too important and too valuable to deal with scum like this. We'll deal with them when the proper time comes, but for now," and he opens one of the larger cells up and corrals, with some of your help, 4 of them in there, closes it and locks it, and then puts Soldan separately in another cell the same size as the cell the other 4 are all crammed into. This is their home for the time being. Oh, he turns to all of them. By the way, since you chose to blow up my office, the beds you would have slept on in these cells. He looks down at some of the ash that's on the ground here. Well, looks like there ain't nothing left of those but soot. So I hope you like the ground. It's what you're going to have to sleep on for the time being, because your personal comfort is a very low priority of mine. Now, I need to go find somebody about how to build an office.
You think he's salty about that? Been written right, subtle.
Man, is Tony Sachery seasoning salt?
And he will look. You know what? Look, just if I see you at the end later this evening, first round of first four drinks will be on me for a while while I calm down. Just do me a favor and don't do nothing untoward to any of these dipshits till I say so. If I say so, I can't say I'm not all in my wits right now. The anger is now coming to the forefront. I need to go for a walk. And he will start to head off.
Garnet's gonna look at her party. Do we think like they're in danger from the dusk elf? Or
Yes.
that he might come? Should we like have a watch on these guys?
Perhaps.
Not a terrible idea.
Be happy, and I'm sure when he gets back, I know Kira and I can both set up alarms around them.
We
Ooh,
know
that
that
might be the thing to do.
well, we know that the elf can travel invisibly and can do I did partials of some sort to get away quickly.
Yes.
So that could be anywhere. But yes, I would say that they're in danger.
I'll take the first watch.
And are you guys saying this near the prisoners?
I wouldn't say it in their earshot.
Okay.
I don't think they're. I mean, Siobhan has not clearly taken her eyes off of them.
Sure.
Just continuing, just like I'm not convinced that they're defenseless.
Sure. So since you're looking in their direction, Siobhan, you can see that Soldan, the one who gave up information about Alafaris, he's sitting down in one corner of his cell, and the other four, they're just in their cells, standing leaning against the bars, but all four of them are just staring in his direction.
Oh yeah, he's proper fucked.
Point of order. When Garnet was searching the pockets, and Garnet or Vicar said that like he would take everybody's possessions. Did that happen before they got put in the cells? Or
Yes.
Okay. Just
Yeah.
making sure that.
Yeah, he took their possessions, and he's got there are a handful of things from his office that did survive the explosion. The cells did, and he also has this large steel holding trunk that he just threw all their shit into, and that's latched and closed. It's very charred, but it's fine.
Does it need any repairs?
What's that?
Does it need any repairs?
Not really.
I know how to do two things. And one of them is work with iron.
Well, when he comes back, can I ask? So something I can offer to do is, when he comes back, I can offer, Marshall, I'd love to help out a bit. I know over at the Brass Cloak, they do sell magical spells. It's not something I'm currently in possession of. If you can assist me with some coin, I'd be happy to learn something that can facilitate getting the rubble away more quickly. What I'm thinking, basically, I am asking him to sponsor me to purchase the Tensor's floating disk.
Okay.
And clear out the rubble that way.
And he listens to you, he goes, "Yeah, you know what? Why don't you mosey on down to the cloak with me? I'll have him open up a line of credit, account, whatever. I'm kind of in charge here. I feel like I can say do this and we'll figure it out later. But no, that sounds good and proper. We'll We'll make that happen. Yeah, you and I will go talk to Mr. Great Reach.
Appreciate that, Marshall.
And so
And
as
then-
as part of the goings on of things, you can, your learning of that will happen. But he will fully sponsor the learning of you for Tensor's floating disk. And while you're there, he chats up the Leonin, Brixton Great Reach. And through the conversation, Great Reach lets it be known that through his own talents, he can probably use some arcane assistance to help everything be rebuilt faster, along with some citizens of the town. And since you walked with them, Haku, you're noticing there are folks just coming out asking him, hey, how can I help? And very quickly, this is becoming a stone soup kind of thing where someone's going, oh, hey, well, no, I can work on this. Oh, you need new furniture? I've actually got some chairs I was thinking of getting rid of anyways, if you'd like those. And you pretty quickly get the sense it'll take a little bit, but this will probably be rebuilt in a day or two. It's not going to be hard for this town that is fully turning out almost down to the last person, like cups metal and sounds like a spittoon, to assist local legend Elijah Bicker.
I will take some time to tattoo it upon myself, and then I will ritual cast it as many times as needed to assist.
Love it. And yeah, it becomes very handy in the assisting just to get all this pieces of everything off of here. There are parts of the office that are found scattered all about the town. In fact, Kira, when you arrived at the Temple for Odin, you were kind of impressed that that there was a piece that had made it all the way there. And you're going, huh. And you only know it's a part of the office.
Pocket that small piece as a souvenir.
Yeah, it's very well charred. It's you could only assume that's what it must have been part of. And you kind of look back, you're going, yeah, I guess it's a straight shot from there to here. And then what are you doing as you are here at the temple?
So I'll go through the temple and I'll just add. Hello, forgive me if this is incorrect. I have heard of this a lot in the Empire, that people who are very faithful to whichever gods that they devote themselves to have some magic to send messages long distance.
And the priest here, you will see this elven male, skin the color of charcoal, platinum white hair, a drow. Well, yes, I can absolutely be of assistance to you, regardless of where your faith is primarily directed. It is under the wisdom of Odin that we help all. How may I assist?
Well, would it be possible to send a message to someone I'd describe to you? I know it'd be harder, but if I were to give you their name and describe them, it might be possible.
I can do my absolute best, but it should be more than doable. I have done this in the past.
I just need to get a message out faster than would be in by letter.
You're not looking to send a message of adoration and appreciation to the martial law. It's always very awkward when we get a fan.
No, I
here
could just
who
tell him
really...
in person. We've actually been working together as of late.
Oh, that's wonderful. Oh, good. I always have to ask because we do get folks sometimes who wish to. Well, it gets awkward. Yes.
That doesn't surprise me.
He is an impressive man.
Regardless, I'd like to send a message to a Loxodon fellow, and I describe Sordal as best I can.
And as you describe who Sortal is,
Mhm.
what he does, where he works, primarily at the Institute of Discovery, yes, I believe I can. I will. He is beyond confident this spell will work.
And I
As I
know,
rolled a natural 19 plus wisdom.
and I know divine magic, even as powerful as it is from the gods, still has its
course.
limits. Uh, I don't want this to seem like a bribe, but more just payment for your time and effort and magical energy. I would love to make a sizable donation to this temple, to be able to get, because this is a sizable ask, this message across. And I basically want to pay, doesn't matter how many days it takes, for the
Okay.
amounts of sendings to tell Sortal about about the people we have in custody,
Mhm.
as well as uh as well as whatever it would take to try to get a promotion for me fast tracked,
Okay.
because we did uh deal with Timigar.
So this drow,
I already have
Red.
it written down in a letter.
Yeah, love it. Red Kinth, you will learn is the name. Red will let you know. As I am here in the temple, and he places his hand on his holy symbol, and you recognize the symbol of Odin. I believe I can focus and send your message. This shall not take multiple attempts. Whatever donation you see fit to give to us, we gladly accept, and will use it to better the lives of all we can. And he reaches towards you and he says, he reaches towards your forehead and he goes, "May I?"
If it helps, absolutely.
"It will." And he places his fingers against your forehead and he says, "Now speak your message through me, and I shall return their words to you."
So,
And Ellen Red will act as a conduit for the conversation.
Sortal, I have a lot to tell you. I've sent letters, so this will be brief. There is a faction within the census calling themselves the Upright. They're bad. Real bad. Tried to kill me multiple times. They haven't succeeded. I was able to find and kill Timigar. Bad dude. He's dealt with. I need a promotion real quick to be able to make sure that some of these Upright that are masquerading as census members are not able to break our treaties with the assemblage and cause an international incident. Yep.
And it will take a brief moment as the message is sent, and then the message being returned to you. That is a lot to take in. I'm glad to hear they have not been able to get you. Keep it that way. I'm glad to hear the Iron Tusk situation is resolved. I had the utmost faith you would be instrumental in it happening. As far as promotions are concerned, as you know, I am not beloved by everybody within the census. However, while there are those who do not love this fact, my friendship with your father does still carry much gravity along with it. I will head to Nova Aurora and speak with those in the census offices directly. I will let them know what you have told me, and I hope you will have some amount of proof to give to them, or I'll be putting my reputation out there. Don't let me down. I believe in you, but please follow through. I do not know exactly how long it will take, but I can be there. Hell, I'll need an hour or so to get my things together, but teleportation circles being available, I can likely be there within the hour. If conversations go well, perhaps I can get word of a hopeful promotion to you by tomorrow. Where are you currently?
What's the name of this town again?
Silent Gulch.
Right. And you can see right after Sordal says that he's proud of him, Kira's just crying. I'm in Silent Gulch right now. I've got proof. I've got Timigar's head and his weapon he perpetrated most of the murders with.
Then that, I imagine, would be more than enough. I will fight for your case on this. And as far as this upright, as you speak of, be careful who you speak of this to. I, too, have heard the name. There are rumblings within the Empire, Karazara. I do not know what their reach is, but the religious sectors are rumbling. Be careful.
Great,
I
love
will-
that. More
hopefully
detailed
I-
messages will come through letters that I've already sent.
Wonderful. I look forward to hopefully seeing you soon. I will say hello to your aunt for you, since I will be in the capital, and hopefully word of promotion comes your direction soon. I must go. The drow will remove his fingers from your forehead. I hope that was satisfactory.
Can't. And Kira's gonna look up and look around and see who else is in the temple.
There are a few citizens here, not many. Like, there are folks who've come in, done some praying, dropped, some coin in the donation box and headed out, but aren't a whole lot of folks here today.
He's just gonna quickly give. He's gonna quickly give Lenred a big hug. Just
Oh,
thank you
do you
so much.
do you need something warm to drink?
No, yes, no,
water,
everything's
tea.
Everything's fine. I need to go. I've got other things to handle. Thank you so much. And he's gonna just like in just a heap as he's like swooping out of the temple, just
Okay.
drop like a handful of like 40 gold into the tithe box
Okay.
and head out.
And even though you can't see it, you can hear just this impressed and delighted gasp from the priest, seeing how much was being placed in there. Just gonna roll a couple things for Sordal here. Okay. We'll see how all that shakes out. And you will reconvene with the rest of your group. What are you all up to? The debris has been, it's the process of being cleared out. These individuals here are kind of on display, but you all kind of have the town otherwise at your beck and call at the moment.
Has it been confirmed that nobody else or nobody was hurt in the explosion?
There were like a couple people got some small bruises since they did get hit by some of the shrapnel, but nothing severe. The explosion, it was very localized. It was like folks who have looked at it, they've kind of figured out the central point of it would basically have been his desk.
What are the other closest buildings that would have line of sight to the cells?
The closest ones would be the Muddy Hoof stables, the Renewed Thread, which is the laundry and tailor, as well as the blacksmith's shop and the brothel would be the 4 buildings the closest to Bicker's office.
Would there be a place in the brothel where
Chooses to go visit the brothel, investigate the brothel.
Mannix, you want to go with me?
You'd like
Would
to
there
go
be a place
too?
in the
All
brothel
right.
where she
I
could?
knew there was something I liked about you, Garnet.
This is a super secret Garnet Day.
Oh, usually when I go to the brothel, it's super secret. I mean, if I were planning to go, if I was in such a state of mind, I'd be being secret. So that makes sense.
Right. So she would go there, hopefully to find a space in a common area that maybe had a window out so she could keep an eye on the prisoners, but not be like super obviously standing guard.
Sure, and
Gonna
you're
get some
able,
eyeballs on you when you're asking for a room with a view, just so you know.
You'll have to teach me the ways of brothels. This is probably her first.
when you enter
Me too.
the Silver Dragonborn proprietress, Texel, she will greet you both. You are shown where the bar is, and there is some seating near the window. Garnet, you may have to shoo off an employee or two every so often when they check to make sure that you're having as much conversation as you want, or sit and have conversation with them. Either way, that's your
So
call.
I'll have conversation.
Yeah, they're happy to have conversation, and you can pick amongst all sorts of. You pick a player, character, race out of any of the books. They're there.
She's more going for variety and information.
Okay.
Knowing this is where Siobhan had gotten the note originally.
Sure.
Right. So anything folks may have noticed, picked up, heard, that sort of thing.
Make an investigation check. And Mannix, dare I ask, what are you doing here?
Wilhelm's
I wouldn't dare.
What'd you get for that investigation?
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. So ask.
Alex just actually did the merge with rocks or
Yep,
whatever.
exactly. Told you he's a geomancer. He's a geometromancer. You will find out not a lot of folks do a whole lot of sightseeing outside the building for for reasons. And the one area where you can kind of see out, it's sort of this small tea nook that is very outside of the view of the rest of it, because again, if you're seeing in from outside, that would be not so much privacy. But you do pick up that no one that you speak to got a really good look at the individual, but as some folks recall, they're like, yeah, they did see someone kind of creeping around the marshal's office earlier in the day, but nobody thought too much of it because not a lot really happens here. And again, the two folks you speak to who were there had other business arrangements they were discussing.
Makes sense.
Mannix, you do not find a pair of non-binary tieflings that you recognize here. I'll just say that.
Not for want of trying.
Sure, you do find other non-binary tieflings that have their own rates depending on that. So we'll just say, Mannix, why don't you mark off 10 gold?
Mannix is honestly just there to put out. I mean, and this is
Bet you are.
he's just there to cultivate a certain image. But he will definitely make a show of leaving the main area. But he's genuinely just poking around looking for information.
You're putting out and poking around in the brothel. Got it.
Prodding.
Make a performance check.
14.
14. So you're a noble. You know how to be seen when you want to be seen. And so you go right into full on schmooze mode. You're chatting folks up. I'd say mark off 5 silver for buying a beverage or two. And
A couple rounds for the room as well.
okay, mark off 2 gold for that then. So yeah, you get yourself a couple drinks, you buy some drinks around, you're chatting folks up. You find there are folks that get very prickly towards you at first because they see your clothes and they recognize the fashion of the Empire. But you very quickly disarm them as abrasive as you can be at times. You also know how to turn on the charm. And you talking folks up, letting them know, hey, I'm just here for a good time like everybody else. Drinks are great here. Hey, love your style. Hey, you seem great. Oh yeah, I've talked to the marshal. He's totally cool. Isn't that awesome? And you exit with a flourish. Everyone who was here definitely knows you were there. And you can even hear, like you actually hear one voice. Might be the nicest person from the Empire I've met. Which you chuckle at slightly deep down.
I'm a dick.
Only because I suppressed the urge to laugh out loud.
Yeah. As day progresses on into evening, what would you all like to do? As a cat has shown up and is sniffing at my notebooks. Look, I have proof.
Cleo.
So
Khajiit on
beneath the
screen.
dignity. Oh. I literally thought that he put the mask on because he heard there was a cat.
I'm the one
Like-
allergic to cats.
Me too.
It was just great timing.
I do that. And yeah, well done with the phrasing there, Nate. I did manage to catch the I just go there to put out. Yeah, that was amazing.
Yeah, I
That
want
was
you to know
amazing.
that I almost had a stroke suppressed, like the yelling of "Oh, honey!" It's like not this character, not this character, not this character. So what did I miss when I was away for a minute? I'm not asking for a full recap. I'm just saying. I'm assuming it's the obvious. You were asking around if anybody saw the Dusk Elf, and
Essentially.
okay.
Mhm.
I think Pohaku is just going to continue most of the day helping at the explosion site, continuing to ritual cast his new floating disc. So the tattoo that he has inked upon himself, did a little bit of research there while I was looking it up. Is I believe it is called a web of weird, apparently.
Yep.
And so it's actually less of a disc and more of like slightly rectangular. It's got 9 interconnected lines, but yeah, it is. He's just spending time helping out, chatting up anybody who is there. But he is just helping move the rubble and assist however he can with the clearing and any construction that's happening.
Siobhan will lend her strength to picking up heavy stuff, and very quickly realizes that she's fair as hell and doesn't usually spend this much time outside, and so it's like might have to go off to acquire a floppy hat at some point. Like, don't know if you could tell. There we go. Yeah, a little bit. You can see the one spot that Jamie forgot to put sunblock on yesterday. Nice little strip of it.
Got to get a cleric to cast minor sunscreen.
Yeah.
And the local blacksmith, the Fairbolg female, Adthana Emberflower, she turns out as well to assist as she can. And while helping to rebuild this office isn't smithing by any stretch of the imagination, she still knows how to swing a hammer and hammer in some nails. So she is quickly assisting with some of the basic rebuilding to at least get some sort of structure up before the sun completely goes down. And so by the time evening approaches, there is a very crude suggestion of where a building will stand, hopefully in a few days, and enough cover that the prisoners aren't being gawked at all sides by passersby, and also that they aren't firing glares their own direction. Bicker drops off some food to them, and now there's enough privacy for them that if one wanted to use the privy, that not all would witness, as that was his primary concern with them being out there in front of everyone. But almost the entire time this was being done, those 4 just still staring daggers at the one who spoke.
While we're working, at one point, Siobhan would ask Haku about the alarm spell. Like, I know you mentioned you had it, and I saw that the I saw that when you had it up in the camp, but as I recall, it does Sweet Fanny Adams. If basically it just lets you know when someone does walk in.
Yeah, I can take care of that. I can either make it that it either lets me know, or I can make it loud and knows.
Great, Mel. I mean, it's good since we know that the elf can be invisible when he wants.
Yeah, I'll take care of it.
I wonder. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if we can trust any of these. I don't even know what to call them, because I want to say census, but I guess not. I don't know if we can trust them to reveal.
We can't.
I think the one it's clear the one that's most in danger is the one who spoke up.
Agreed.
And I'm also gonna kind of talk to Bicker and be like,
well, and I'll just conclude that with, yes, that's why we're here.
Right. See,
You knew that I wasn't really going to eat them, right?
you told me at the time. I did not know until you said so.
Yeah, that's a stereotype. It's fine. I understand.
I assure you, it's not a stereotype. Or well, perhaps I have no knowledge of any place where people do eating of other people. So I'd not made that assumption.
Okay. Just wanted to, just making sure there was no confusion.
Right. What goes on that's a confusion that happens where you're from?
Well, I just know the woods, rumors. It's a mysterious place.
Yeah, it's probably the census folk. I mean, anything that's not there, anything that's not their religion is probably suspect.
Yeah, I don't like them very much.
No, they've not shown themselves. Well, I was going to say they've not shown themselves to good advantage, but I think they've shown themselves very accurately. Why do I sound like Mannix? I've forgotten how to be Irish again. We'll pick this in post.
I still haven't quite figured out Kira. He wants to be part of it, and yet everything that he's been doing seems counter to everything that we've heard.
How do you mean?
He's aggressive, but he seems a decent fellow. He doesn't seem as, well, just kind of gestures towards the group that's in there. He's not that.
I think he's determined to make a name for himself because of who his dad is. And
By aligning with the census? Is that the best way to do it?
I mean, that's who his dad was.
I suppose.
I don't blame him. I mean, he was born there. I don't think there's any way for him to know any different. I have some hope that he'll look around and notice, oh,
I don't know much
they're right
about them.
folks.
Yeah, I don't know much about them. They just seem rigid.
I think that they think that they're doing the right thing. That they think that they're saving the world by making sure that everyone, or as many people as possible, pray to Balder. However, they don't. Their method of imposing this will is violent, and they have the strength of zealots because they believe what they're doing is right, and that makes them powerful. I don't have much dealing with them generally. They're not. I've never spoken to one before meeting Kira, and it's very unusual for them to be traveling around this many in the assemblage at the same time. It's quite strange. But Mida, where he's from, was the don't know what's the name of the place.
AFO.
He's from AFO, or AFO. It was I imagine even where you're from, you heard of Crimson Ridge.
Have I?
Yeah, Pahaku, even out in the wood, you heard it. It was when the Thanamirian Empire took the northern part of the territory of Aethiel. The final battle was so bloody that a section of the mountain was red, even from a distance. Hence why the battle's called Crimson Ridge. So many died during it that everyone on the continent, almost down to the last toddler, knows about it.
Yes, we know.
So overnight, my father was where he lived, or his land was no longer Aefio. But none of the people there changed. His family's still there. They're not different. Who was in charge was different. So I don't think that everyone who lives in the Empire is a right bastard. But that were 50 years ago.
Thereabouts.
I doubt that they're taught the same story that I was about what happened and how it went down. So I think he doesn't know better. And I think he's going to learn some unpleasant truths.
Well, I suppose we're looking out for him now, so best we can do is help him out when that comes.
Don't think he needs that much looking out for. Do you believe a group of full-grown adults looked at this child and said, "Oh, he probably outranks us. That makes sense." So the fight goes on over there.
You're closer to it than I am. I figured that was just the way things worked around here. I bought it. Right then, I mean, this may come as a surprise to you. I know things, but I don't necessarily have the best people skills sometimes as far as insight into their motivations. I trust people.
You see,
Maybe I shouldn't have told you that.
You see Siobhan like
Don't tell
think
medics.
and reject like 4 different things. Just like hey, it's not bad. It's not a bad thing to think well of people. It's not a gift I have. I do think it makes your life easier overall because you come in with a positive attitude, assuming the best. I've watched people just love you, hand you gifts, just all these things that are, oh, let me just give you this extra key. Let me give you a belt. Just
Looks down. It is a nice belt.
are you not
Just-
cold?
Reaches out. No, you're not.
No, are you not cold? I am cold because it's cold.
Oh. Wait, what?
Are you not? Are you
Oh, am I not cold?
Are you
No.
cold? Are you cold? How are they not cold?
I mean, it's not just a belt. I mean, there's straps too. I mean, and if it gets cold, I have other clothes, but it's fine.
You add more straps, do you?
I mean, I've got socks.
You get your winter straps.
Winter straps.
There's straps and socks. If it gets really cold, I can put on
Oh
socks.
my.
I see. I'm picturing that it just goes full Zardoz and then it's like,
And this is my mankini.
I can't believe you invoked Zardoz. Oh God.
Going full slingshot tonight.
Oh God. Oh man.
My nephews will never be allowed to watch our show.
Because you're afraid they'll watch Zardoz as a result.
we're too young. Yeah, we can't.
Wait a minute. What was it that you said was my special? Sam has his gas can, and I have my. Wait a minute.
Your background.
No.
No. Okay.
Don't.
Oh no. Yes, do it. Sean Connery's always the right answer. He can't sue us. He's dead.
You can certainly try. Oh, goodness. Oh, man. Oh. Well, as it gets on into the evening, is there anything you all wish to do as this day is fully coming to a close?
We should probably take a break so I can.
That's what I'm getting to.
I was gonna make a joke.
Oh, go ahead. What's your joke?
Yes.
Oh.
Don't worry, Jordan. I mean, I wasn't gonna go that far
I thank you so much.
Okay.
because I know what I
I don't
could
know if
have
that
done.
picture's better or worse.
Clearly was naked. Yeah.
There's clearly straps. I don't know. Look, there's
Oh,
clearly
yeah,
straps.
yeah.
It reminds me of the Val
Valvinus.
video. The soldier in the bushes.
No, it reminds me of like how.
Just with the helmet.
Yeah. Anyhow,
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
the
As I
before
die in producer.
it's like as before I get a squadron of red dragons to come find you all, what would you like to do in the evening? Jamie is scandalized by it. You're right. Squadron is not the right term for red dragons. How dare I?
Yes, that was my objection.
Yes.
You sneak up on the battalion of red dragons.
Not.
I would say we would arrange with Bicker or discuss with Bicker and figure out if there needs to be some. Yes.
Order of watch.
Yes.
Wonderful. You will. You will arrange that with Bicker, and we will find out exactly how all that shakes out next time. But that's where we'll leave off for right now.
Hey Bjorn. Hey Bjorn. This
What?
is what chaos awaits.